Hello, my name is Charles, and this is my Module 5 presentation, a proposal for CGI. I've had to complete this proposal on my own due to some participation issues within the group and some other unforeseen circumstances to members who did participate, which are unknown to me. The main proposal would be to create an online presence, and it would start as just a few social media accounts creating regular posts, trying to get in touch with the local community. But it could also branch out into a full website with a lot of information about how to be more environmentally conscious. And the goal of this is that it's trying to encourage young people to think about their decisions in day-to-day life to be more environmentally conscious. Again, the main target group that we're looking at is the young professional or just graduated, just getting into work, this sort of group. They consume a lot of content online on a lot of social media platforms, so like TikTok, YouTube, Instagram. And one of the ways that we can really get to these people is through some influencers that can team up with us and promote some of the ideas that we can have, which I'll touch on in the future. Also, this is also our idea of environmental consciousness is particularly important to them, because obviously they will be the ones that inherit the society that may be most stricken by climate change in the few decades to come. So for reaching our customers, we're taking obviously the basic see, think, do, care system. And for the C group, we're really starting with the basics. And there's a lot of young people who still may not fully grasp the importance of climate change. And that's why I felt it was so important to focus on education as the first step in reaching the customers. And as we proceed down in more engagement with them, that's when we can bring in more calls to action and more inspirations to them. In general, when we talk about the channel strategy, we're going from a very broad base to trying to become very personal with our consumers. Excuse me. So this would mean at the start for the C group, we would just be setting up social media accounts that would post on a regular basis and using a knowledge of the algorithms on social media, so a YouTube algorithm or promoted posts on Instagram and Twitter to get the message out there within the area that we want the young people to be informed of our program. When we get to the thing category, we're going to start introducing some basic things that will not necessarily bring about revenue immediately. It would be some challenges, perhaps, which would be like starting a trend of challenging young people to create to specific environmentally conscious decisions, and it'd be a sort of call to action. And this is also where we would get endorsements from influencers to come and promote our challenges and spread the word of them. And all of these actions are designed with the aim to convince people to almost buy into our system. And once we proceed to the do portion, that's when we can convince our consumers to make more financially heavy investments into environmental consciousness because they believe in our message. And the main idea here is to collaborate with companies that are very beneficial to the environment. So possibly hybrid vehicles, bicycles, changing to clean energy within neighborhoods, those sort of ideas. And we'd be using a lot of hub content to really bring together everything that we have and condense it into a place where it's very easily accessible for consumers. So they'd be very drawn to use our services to purchase things that would benefit them and benefit the environment in the future. And finally, for the care group, this is a group that perhaps already has taken what CGI would be offering them, and they would need to be updated about what the next step is and how CGI is cooperating with the local councils and the city councils to create more environmental hubs within the city. So this could be like electric charging for cars, could be better public transport infrastructure, and etc. Also, towards this point, it's very important, in my opinion, to be more personalized to retain your customer base. So it'd be a lot of emails and blog posts rather than purely social media content. Again, for display and search parts, we see that as the target base gets smaller, as the target base gets smaller, the more personal we're able to get, and this would have a more heavy emotional impact on the customers, and this would create more rapport and more spending, obviously. So for our value proposition, we really wanted to focus on the fact that we want people to incorporate these choices into their daily life. And that's where the social media posts will begin to come in. There'll be a lot of educational content on there. And the calls to action will give people opportunities to make these decisions, and they will hopefully stick for a long term. And as I mentioned earlier, it may be difficult to be sustainable. Electric cars can be very expensive. As of right now, clean energy is also very expensive. And that's why the collaborations and sponsorships with other corporations would be very effective here, as it would seem as a win-win for customers that they were saving money and also benefiting the environment, which comes down to the last part as well. And truly the biggest benefit is that the ability to save our environment will have priceless rewards in the future. So here's our main business plan. I won't go over everything, but I'd like to mention the early adopters here are generally people who have begun to start thinking about being sustainable, because it's extremely difficult in the modern age to be sustainable, and many young professionals and higher education students are either do not have the drive to do this, or they don't have the means to do it, either financially or knowledge based. But the early adopters would be the first people to come on to view our solution on how to simplify the process to make it so that sustainability can come to everyone. Which comes to the minimum value project, which would simply just be starting social media accounts and spreading the word at the bare minimum. And then our early customer base will be able to contact us about how they feel about how we're doing. And we would use this information to help create the website and create our collaborations with influencers and also with corporations. So overall, this project, it was quite fun in terms of the research part. All three companies had very interesting proposals for me. And it was inspiring, truly, to see that technology could be advanced now, that it could have such a huge impact on how we live our day-to-day lives. But obviously, it was very, very difficult to work alone. And I hope that more can be done to encourage and track participation within the program, because this situation was not ideal, obviously. It was, I do truly wish that I was able to use the group project skills that were learned in the previous modules. And it's a true shame that I wasn't able to here. But here are my details, and that will be all. Thank you.